Meghan Markle just got put on a list of people who are not allowed in. When Meghan Markle landed her plane in Paris, France, she was not just there for a simple visit. She was trying to make a big, important return to the world of famous people. Her team of helpers told everyone that this was just a private trip for fashion. They wanted it to sound like a secret, special vacation. However, inside the fancy marble offices of the Dior company, the workers already knew she was coming. They had a plan ready. The bosses told the staff exactly what to do. There would be no meetings with her. There would be no trying on beautiful clothes. There would be no special rules made for her. People who know the secrets of the fashion house said that her name had been marked with a warning flag. A written note had been passed around weeks before she arrived. This note told the workers that they should not let the Duchess make any surprise visits. It said that any questions about her had to go through the lawyers, not the fashion designers. Even with all of this, Meghan arrived looking very sure of herself. She insisted that she had a scheduled time to meet for a special fashion session. She acted like she belonged there, but the list on the door said something different. It showed that she was not allowed to enter. There was no reservation for her name, and there was definitely no plan to work together on a project. What was supposed to be a quiet, private meeting turned into a polite but firm no. It was a silent rejection. She was turned away without any loud arguments, but the answer was very clear. Only a few hours later, secrets started being whispered all over the hallways of the fashion world in Paris. The news was spreading that Dior had said no to her. It was not on the news yet, but in the world of fashion, gossip moves much faster than official letters. People who were inside the building described the feeling in the room. They said it was a frosted calm. This means it was very cold and serious, but quiet. There was no yelling. There was no big fight. It was just very formal and stiff. The person in charge of talking to the public for Dior came out to speak. This person confirmed that there was no appointment on the schedule. They wished her a nice day, but that was it. For Meghan, this was more than just a little problem. It felt like a very big embarrassment. She had been trying to get the attention of this fashion house for many months. People who know the secrets later told us what happened. They said her team had sent many ideas for working together. They pitched everything from her being a brand ambassador to a new campaign that would make her look like a modern Princess Diana. The plans were very fancy and big. They were written to make her look like the new symbol of Dior's history and rebellion. But inside the Dior offices, the message did not feel right. One boss reportedly said, "We make clothes for legends. We do not make legends out of people who cause trouble." After that happened, her name was taken off the contact lists at Dior. The polite no she got that morning was just the last step of a choice they had already made. A few days later, the proof came out. We call these receipts. Leaked emails and messages showed that Meghan had been trying to talk to Dior for a long time. Her very last idea for a project reportedly included a sentence where she compared herself to Princess Diana. She said she was like a new version of Diana's elegance for young people today. That was the moment everything changed. That was the breaking point. The group of people who run Dior did not want a big storm of news and drama. They wanted to stay far away from it. In secret meetings behind closed doors, they voted to blacklist her. This means they decided to stop any work with her that was being planned. This was a move that many other expensive brands copied later on. Then there was a surprise twist in the story. The bosses at Dior were trying to keep this whole thing a secret, but suddenly social media apps like Instagram and Twitter filled up with posts praising Meghan's style. It happened very fast. Internet celebrities, called influencers, started repeating the exact same sentences. They used the exact same hashtags. It looked suspicious because they were all identical. The people at Dior who investigate these things looked into it. They traced the posts back to companies connected to Meghan's public relations team. To the people at Dior, it looked like she was trying to fake a friendship with the brand. She was trying to make it look like they were working together when they were not. After the rejection, within just a few hours, the House of Dior sent a short note to newspaper editors all over Europe. The note was off the record, which means it was for information only. It said Dior has no current partnership with the Duchess of Sussex, and we do not plan to have one. It was just one sentence. They made no other comments. It was a calm message, but it was very final. In the world of expensive fashion, silence does not mean peace. It means punishment. When Dior cut their connection with her, the trouble did not stop there. Dior is owned by a huge company called LVMH. This company also owns other famous brands like Fendi, Givenchy, and Louis Vuitton. Inside this huge empire, Meghan's name started to appear on a special list. This was a restricted list. These lists are not for the public to see, but every big brand has them. They contain names of people who are too controversial. These are people who are too unpredictable or just too risky for business. The bosses at the other fashion houses looked at their own plans. They quietly did the same thing as Dior. Givenchy is a brand that used to dress her for big royal events. They were the first ones to step back. Chanel also said no to future ideas. Even the stylists, the people who help stars pick clothes, got warnings. These stylists used to borrow expensive clothes for her. Now they were told to avoid being connected to her. It was not because they hated her personally, it was for protection. The Duchess had become the thing that the fashion world is most scared of. She was a PR liability. This means she brought bad attention while wearing their clothes. Paris did not kick her out publicly. The city just stopped answering her calls. In that silence, the blacklist was more powerful than any news headline could be. Meghan was not ready to give up. A few days later, she showed up at a fashion show for Balenciaga in Paris. It was a surprise. She wanted to show everyone that she still belonged with the important fashion people. The cameras went click, click, click. The bright lights flashed. For a short moment, it looked like she was back on top. It looked like her comeback had arrived. But the truth was different. People who were inside the show said the feeling in the room changed the second she walked in. One stylist whispered, "You could feel the air freeze." The magazine editors stayed far away from her. The designers were cold to her, even if they were polite. When she walked in, the clapping was polite, but it was not loud or strong. The photos looked glamorous and pretty, but the people who were actually there said it felt like awkward acting. No designer came up to talk to her. No stylist told her congratulations. Behind the scenes, the real talk was not about her outfit. It was about how much popularity she had lost. She was no longer in the inner circle of fashion. The cameras took a picture of her smile, but Paris saw the silence. Backstage at the Balenciaga show, whispers began to spread. These were the kind of whispers that people in Paris never forget. Stylists and assistants started trading quiet comments about the Duchess. They were not talking about her dress. They were not talking about her hair. They were talking about something much less nice. One person described a heavy smell. Another person mentioned that she was wearing too much perfume. It seemed like the perfume was trying to cover something up. It does not matter if this was true or if they were exaggerating. In the fashion world, gossip spreads faster than the smell of perfume. By the time the after-party was over, the talk had left the building. Within a few hours, workers from many different brands were texting each other about it. Some people said it was just mean talk. Others said it showed the bad energy she brought into every room. The final decision was not really about hygiene or smells. It was about her energy. The city of Paris can forgive people for being arrogant. It can forgive people for having scandals. But it never forgives when the feeling in the room becomes heavy and uncomfortable. That night, the air around Meghan Markle felt suffocating and thick. Then came the moment that turned the uncomfortable feeling into anger. After she left the fashion show, Meghan was seen filming a video. She was near the Pont de l'Alma tunnel. This is a very sad place. It is the same tunnel where Princess Diana lost her life in a car crash. Her team said it was just a nice drive through the city, but the people of Paris did not believe that. This was a woman who had compared herself to Diana in public. Choosing this exact spot felt like she did it on purpose. Many people living in Paris, this crossed a serious line. It was disrespectful. People whispered that she wanted to take Diana's story and make it her own. She wanted people to feel the same sadness for her as they did for Diana. But for the people who remember that tragedy, it felt tone-deaf. It felt morbid, which means unnatural and sad. A senior stylist who used to work with Dior explained it quietly. She said, "Diana's legacy belongs to our memories. It does not belong to marketing." That one car ride, whether it was filmed or not, did more damage than the rejection from Dior. In Paris, the city still mourns Diana. It felt like Meghan was acting out a performance, and